Did you know how the greatest library in history turned to ashes? Or that era when Roman emperors started filling coins with trash instead of silver to deceive the public? Welcome to those unheard pages of the 3rd century, where Chinese scholars turned into hippies roaming naked and searching for truth in alcohol. A time when India created iron that would never rust, and China made such magical mirrors that could see through the light. From the falling walls of Rome to the echoes of India's golden age, let's explore those 25 most shocking stories of history, which you probably never read in your textbooks. Number 26. China's 7 Sages of the Bamboo Grove. When the political atmosphere in China became very dangerous and corrupt after the Three Kingdoms period, 7 scholars and poets decided to leave society. They went to live in the forest. They were ancient hippies. They drank wine all day, wrote poems, and often remained naked. They believed that the rules of society are useless and the real truth lies in alcohol and nature. Mystery number 27. Accurate calculation of pi. Liu Hui's pi. In 263 AD, Chinese mathematician Liu Hui discovered a new way to find the value of pi. He created a polygon with 3,072 sides. He calculated the value of pi as 3.1416, which was the most accurate in the world at that time. He did all this without any calculator. Mystery number 28. Father of Algebra. In the 3rd century, a mathematician named Diocletian lived in Alexandria. He wrote a book named Arithmetica. He used symbols in mathematics for the first time. The algebra we study today started from here. Although the word algebra was later given by the Arabs, the work belonged to Diophantus. Mystery number 39. Rome's New Walls, Aurelian Walls. For 500 years, there was no wall around the city of Rome because they had no fear of any enemy. But in 271 AD, Emperor Aurelian feared that barbarians could reach Rome. He built a 19-kilometer-long wall around Rome. This wall was proof that Rome is no longer safe. This wall still stands in Rome today. Mystery number 32. Destruction of the Library of Alexandria. We often think the library burned down all at once, but it was destroyed gradually. In 270 to 275 AD, when Aurelian reclaimed the city from Queen Zenobia, a large part of the library, Bruchian district, was destroyed in the battle. In this battle, many original manuscripts, original scrolls of Aristotle and Plato were turned to ashes forever. Mystery number 31. Mani and Manichaeism. In Persia, a prophet named Mani started a new religion, Manichaeism. It was a mixture of Christianity, Buddhism, and Zoroastrianism. This religion spread like wildfire in the 3rd century. It had followers from China to Spain. Mani believed that the world is a battlefield between light, good, and darkness, bad. Later, the Persian king had Mani killed. Mystery number 32. Silver disappears from coins. The silverless coins. By 268 AD, the Roman silver coin, Antonianus, contained only 5% silver. The remaining 95% was copper or iron scrap. To make the coins look like silver, the government coated them with a thin layer, wash, of mercury or silver, which would come off just by touching it. This was the biggest government scam in history. Mystery number 33. Aurelian, restorer of the world, restitutor orbis. Emperor Aurelian ruled for only 5 years, 270 to 275, but he performed a miracle. He reunited the 3 broken empires, Gallic, Palmyrene, and Roman. He received the title Restitutor Orbis, Restorer of the World. If Aurelian hadn't existed, the Roman Empire would have ended in the 3rd century itself. The irony is that his own officials murdered him due to a small misunderstanding. Mystery number 34. Rise of the Sun God, Sol Invictus. Aurelian abandoned traditional Roman gods and made Sol Invictus the main deity. He fixed the birthday of the sun god as December 25th. Later, when Christianity came, they adopted this same date as Christmas so that people could convert easily. Mystery number 35. Saint Anthony and the Desert, First Monks. In Egypt, Saint Anthony decided that cities had become too sinful. He left everything behind and went to live alone in the desert. This is where monasticism began. Thousands of people followed him into the desert and began living in caves. This existed in India earlier, but it started in Christianity in the 3rd century. Mystery number 36. The Iron Pillar, Iron Pillar of Delhi? Although its exact date is debated, many archaeologists believe that the famous Iron Pillar of Delhi belongs to either the Gupta period, 4th century, or that its technology was being developed at the end of the 3rd century. This pillar has been standing under the open sky for 1,600 years, but it has not rusted. This is the greatest miracle of ancient Indian metallurgy. Mystery number 37. Japan's clay soldiers, Haniwa figures. In 3rd century Japan, Kofun period, clay statues, Haniwa, began to be buried around the graves of kings. Earlier, when a king died, his servants were buried alive. This practice changed in the 3rd century, and clay statues were placed instead of servants. This was a major reform in human rights. Mystery number 38. Magic mirrors of China. In China, bronze mirrors were created that looked ordinary, but when light was reflected off them, they appeared to become transparent and projected the pattern from the back onto the wall. This is called a light penetration mirror. Even today, scientists do not fully understand how they created this nanostructure in the 3rd century. Mystery number 39. Roots of Gupta Empire. At the end of the 3rd century, 240 to 280 AD, Sri Gupta laid the foundation of the Gupta Empire in India. At that time, it was a small kingdom, but it was destined to become the golden age of India, where science and art would reach their peak. Mystery number 40. Vegetarian lion legend. During the persecution of Christians, a famous story emerged about St. Paul, the hermit. It was said that 2 lions came into the desert, but they did not attack. The lions dug a grave with their paws for St. Anthony so that he could bury St. Paul. Whether this story is true or not, it offered great hope to 3rd century Christians. Mystery number 41. The Tetrarchy, Diocletian's 4 kings. Emperor Diocletian realized that one man could not manage such a vast empire. In 293 AD, he divided the empire into 2 parts, east and west, and appointed 4 kings, 2 seniors, 2 juniors. This was called the Tetrarchy, rule of 4. He decided that power would no longer transfer through blood relations, but through merit. However, as soon as he retired, those 4 fought and died among themselves. Mystery number 42. Price tag with death penalty. Edict on maximum prices, 301 AD. To stop inflation, Diocletian passed a law in 301 AD at the very end of the century. He fixed the price of everything, from wheat to a barber's wages. If a shopkeeper asked more than the fixed price, they faced the death penalty. The result, shopkeepers stopped selling goods altogether, and the entire market collapsed, black market. This was history's first failed economic experiment. Mystery number 45. World's first chemical attack. Chemical warfare at Dura Europos, 256 AD. During excavations in the Syrian city of Dura Europos, the bodies of 19 Roman soldiers were found in a tunnel. They didn't die by the sword. Persian soldiers had burned sulfur and bitumen in the tunnel. The burning created sulfur dioxide gas, which turns lungs into acid. The Roman soldiers suffocated inside the tunnel. This is the first confirmed chemical attack in history with archaeological evidence. Mystery number 44. Birth of the real Santa Claus. Birth of Saint Nicholas, 270 AD. In 270 AD, a child named Nicholas was born in Turkey, Patara. He grew up to be the bishop of Myra. He was famous for his generosity. Legend says he secretly threw gold coins through a window or chimney to pay for the marriages of a poor father's 3 daughters. This Nicholas later became Santa Claus. Mystery number 46. Donkey food. Barley rations. Discipline in the Roman army during the 3rd century was very strict. If a soldier showed cowardice or made a mistake, his wheat ration was cut off. He was given only barley. At that time, barley was only fed to donkeys and mules. Eating animal food in front of the whole unit made the soldier feel ashamed. It reminded them that they hadn't done a human's job. Mystery number 47. The Headless Saint, Saint Denis of Paris. Around 250 AD, Denis, the Bishop of Paris, then called Lutetia, was decapitated. Legend has it that after being beheaded, Denis picked up his severed head and walked for 6 miles with it in his hands, preaching all the while. He is the patron saint of Paris. Mystery number 48. Baths of Caracalla. Emperor Caracalla built the world's 2nd largest bath complex in Rome. It opened in 216 AD. It could accommodate 1,600 people at once. It wasn't just a bathroom. It contained a gym, library, shops, and art galleries. It was Rome's country club where even the poorest man could go for free so that he would love the emperor. Mystery number 49. Queen Zenobia's golden chains. When Emperor Aurelian defeated the rebel Queen Zenobia, she was brought to Rome. She was paraded through the streets in Aurelian's victory parade, triumph. She was bound in golden chains. The chains were so heavy that she had to use the help of servants to lift them. However, later Aurelian forgave her, and she lived in Rome like a wealthy woman. Mystery number 50. Emperor is now God. From princeps to dominate. Before the 3rd century, emperors called themselves first citizen, princeps, but Diocletian changed this. He began to have himself called Dominus Deus, Lord and God. Now no one could look into the emperor's eyes. People had to lie on the ground before him and kiss his shoes, which were studded with diamonds. This was the beginning of absolutism. Mystery number 50. Rise of the Mayan civilization. Mayan Classic period, 250 AD. While Rome was burning, in another corner of the world, Mexico, Guatemala, the Mayan civilization was entering its golden age, Classic period. Around this time, they began building their massive stone cities and pyramids and developed their calendar, the same calendar that made people think the world would end in 2012.